Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Bengaluru International Short Film Festival. Let's talk today is with animation filmmakers. I have with me Mr. Upamanyu, the director of film, and just in time, Kalp, the
Yeah,
co-director of the film, joins in.
Hi, hi.
Hello guys, how are you?
good, good.
Good, good. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Going on. So, talk us through the process about how the journey started off where and how did you come to this idea and what was that thing that you started the film with?
So I think it started when we went back to Kolkata with the decision to make a film that's set over there with some ideas that really belong to that space. And like, yes, you have the nostalgia, you have the looking backwards when you enter a city like Kolkata. But if you look forwards, the thing that really is coming towards us like a train is climate change, and you can see the effects that the area keeps having. You can see it in Assam, you can see it in Kerala, you can see it all over. That like we're getting bigger and bigger impact of climate change the more time passes. So so yeah, once we started reading a little into that, we felt that we could make a story that visualizes the future of the city and makes the
Okay,
people who watch the film think a little bit about what does our life look like one within our lifetimes if this happens to us, if cities become unlivable, or how far do we go to continue.
correct. So, were you guys batchmates? Because I see that you both studied from National Institute of Design. So, you batchmates or were you guys
No, different
same?
batches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one
Oh,
year
okay.
senior and Kalp is like 1 year afterwards.
Okay.
2014 and 2015. And yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And was this your only concept, or did you have anything else? And then did you finally fix it on climate change? And how did the whole thing start?
Yeah, I mean, when you write, you have a big wish list, right? Kalp, we had quite a few.
Correct.
Yeah. We actually had a brainstorming session and we had sort of thrown a lot of ideas. And then I think we had like some 5, 6 different ideas because, like he said, we wanted to go back and make an animated short ourselves around our own film. So I think
Correct.
after that we sort of narrowed it down to 2 or 3 by the end of it, and then this wave really stuck, especially after we sort of came across this article on the Telegraph on the
Yeah.
papers about these river islands, the Goramara Islands in the Sundarbans,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about this, and the very next day both of us read this article where it says these islands are literally drowning because of the sea level rise, and hundreds of families have been
Yeah.
displaced and they have no homes anymore.
Yeah,
So
lots of
this
little
really
signs
stuck
saying
to
this is
us.
happening right now. Like, this is
Yeah,
the
Correct.
film we
Correct.
need to
Even
make.
in
Yeah.
Karnataka, there's floods everywhere every year that happens, and all those things.
Yeah, yeah. Even now.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just increasing every year, so it's going somewhere. Yeah,
Correct.
and
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 talk us through the
Kolkata is
whole.
right in its path, so that just really scared us. It
Correct.
still does. It's still happening. So.
Talk us through the whole process about, how did you go through? Did you make storyboards or did you just, compose a story and
Yeah, so we had a very different idea for the timeline for this
okay,
film, like how long it would end up taking. So we thought we would spend this much time in the storyboard, this much time in writing, and just this much time in production, and we'd be done. Whereas it ended
Mhm.
up spending maybe this much time in animation first, and then thinking, okay, maybe the storyboard isn't doing everything that we wanted the film to do. So then we went back in, we added more scenes. We were writing scenes on the go after we already had a big chunk of animation. Kind of as if we were going on shoots only. We would just invent an entire sequence and put it back in. Not everyone does it that way. Like even other projects we have done much more systematically. But
Yeah, this was very organic, and it sort of kept evolving every day, every month. Every time we sat with the script, we compiled everything. We had a look at it. We thought this is not working, so we went back again, and then it was a lot of back and forth over the years, and then finally it came up. Yeah.
how long did it take? What was the duration from the start to the finish till you had the final product of the whole thing?
On and off, it went on for 3.5 years.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, it was quite a long time. But we did not work on it continuously for 3.5 years because again we began in 2016, and then there was a chunk of those few months that we worked on continuously. After that, we
did the
went for a
crowdfunding. Yeah.
campaign, crowdfund campaign. Then we took a little bit of break and reevaluated the script and the story concept, characters, a lot of things. In between, we also did a bunch of commercial work to sort of we sort of underestimated, we raised a lot of amount, but then since the timeline went much more, it wasn't sufficient. So we took a little bit of break, again went back to it, and then we worked in chunks. So finally, November 19, we got it done.
Because I see the attention detail that you guys have put in is very good. The guy who's wearing a mask at the back, because that actually what the people who go on Sundarbans and birds do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the tiger comes from behind and attacks you. I mean, that's the whole.
Thank you. Exactly.
That was the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, talk us through the whole journey about you deciding to become animators and what was
All
the.
of it, huh? So, I mean, like you've heard, we both went to the National Institute of Design. Before that, we didn't have a lot of examples ahead of us as to animation as a viable career option in the country. So we were pretty much making it up as we went along. And after we graduated, I think both of us spent a lot of time together in Bombay as well, doing the standard. You have your title sequences, music videos, that scene. We got a little saturated with that. We decided. I didn't finish my graduation project. Kalp did a very large chunk of his graduation project, but like then there's always that little fire under you saying that like you have to finish a film to justify your existence. At which point we decided to go back to Kolkata, and yeah, like we learned a lot on Wade, and even while Wade was happening, there were 3 other films that were going on in the studio, which all kind of towards the last lap they all kind of synced up, and we ended up finishing at the same time last November. And that's when things got interesting. Like, not only did we start sending to festivals like yours, but we also went on a nationwide tour, kind of like a band or a stand-up comedian would do, like with a program of 4 short films with the process behind them. And we played in many cities around the country. We played Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi, Vijayawada, Kochi, Calicut, Kolkata, of course, Delhi. And we actually sold tickets for that, and that's when we actually got to meet our audience. We're not really meeting anybody right now, but yeah, so that was a very good experience as well. So that's how that's one extra thing that we.
Yeah, all of that got over just before the lockdowns began.
Just before,
so
yeah.
we luckily managed to travel around and show our films to as many people as possible, at least in the country, and it was a great experience. Very good feedback, very good response.
I mean, how was the whole that you guys had when you guys got to know that it has been selected to the Bengaluru International Short Film Festival, and your first film being selected to such a film festival?
It's been really great, and it's really good to see like such a quality festival in India, especially, and it's such a robust animation category that too. So we feel like we're in very good company as well. And there have been we've been doing festivals around the world. Really, it's obviously it would have been awesome to be there,
travel,
and I'm in a situation where I'm in Bangalore, but like we're not being able to do this. But so that's sad. That will, but there are new
hopefully
things that
next
we're
year
doing.
we get to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yes. Have you guys watched any other your competitors' films or anything since morning? And what do you think?
It's a very, very good category. Like there are some films that we've been in competition with before as well in other festivals, like Kapemahu from Hawaii. That's a very beautiful. Yeah, that's a very, very beautiful film. We're very happy to see Balram's film in competition. Story of a Beginning.
It's really nice. Yeah.
He's again from your National Institute of Design, right?
Exactly, and he's worked on Wade as well. So it's really like during his summer internship while he was still studying. So it's really nice to see his film like right out of college, just going there.
think
It's
17 summer he came to Kolkata and he helped us out with the film.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he finished his graduation film, so that's good
Yeah.
for him.
That's good. So, I mean, what next? What are you guys planning on doing, and what is the next thing after Wait that you guys want to do?
So we've got so we took a little bit of a break and figured out what we want to do, and now we are finally that we've managed to put a film like Wade out. We are looking at a little bit of a long format animated content, where like feature or animated series. So that's something we're working on. Upamanyu is also sort of writing a script. I'm trying to develop a long format thing. So yeah, that's what we want to do in this, at least
Yeah.
the rest of this year. We're trying to develop those films and then again start work on
Yeah,
that production
as
and all.
soon as Wait got done, we all of us together, we started another animated short film, which was much shorter. And the animation for that is already complete. It's a short film called 10. It's a Bengali language ultra short film. So
Okay.
that is in post production, just coloring. By like all the backgrounds are done, animation is done, just coloring it up and putting it together. And like Kalp said, yeah, writing a long format feature film, animated. We shall see how that goes. And yeah,
I mean, what do you feel is preferable? Short films for animation or long feature films, which is easier in considering India and all the technologies that we have and.
well, I mean, I this summer, fun fact, I was stuck in Italy for 5 months. Working as a storyboard artist on another animated feature film project by a European director. So I got a very close look at how it goes. And even in India, I've had a look at live action long format films as a storyboard artist and being on set and all. And both are very interesting. And I would really like to see the animation feature film happen here. We have a lot of very good small studios across the country, which we could definitely look at getting it done within the country, like even tackling a much longer duration.
Kalp, you want to add anything to it? And
Yeah, I mean, again, it was sort of a step by step thing. Now that we've done a short film, we know how it works. We managed to pull together a team and finish off. It took a lot of time, but we learned a lot and we managed to finish it off. But so now I think like a feature film, even an animated series is a very interesting format and like an interesting thing overall. So I'm also trying to sort of work on that and trying to develop one where again it was actually a part of my graduation film, which I started off much early on in 14-15, but again, like Upi said, Upani said, it's not over yet. So it was put aside for a while. Again, a lot of learning from this bunch of short films we did in the last 3 to 4 years, and now I think that has sort of given us a lot of confidence so that this can
For
be
sure,
tackled.
yeah.
So I think again, like he said, a lot of good studios and artists in the country itself. So again, really want it to be a Indian sort of a production where
Homegrown
we come together
situation,
and
yeah.
a homegrown situation. So yeah, that's next. At least the next 2 years, we want to keep doing this.
It'll take
I mean,
time, so we'll be busy.
tell me the difficulties that you faced while doing Wait, be it time that you had to put in, the funding, whatever it is. How did you overcome, and what was the thing that kept you going to finish the Wait? Because I heard you guys say it took a lot of years. So what was
Yeah.
the thing that made sure you keep the flame burning and take it forward?
I
What do you
think,
think, Kalp?
yeah, so I think majorly when we came back to Kolkata, we were very lucky to have a team with us at that point itself. And initially, there were 9 of us that got a space in Kolkata and started work. And after that, it's been 6 of us working as Ghost Animation in a
As
common
6
studio
partners,
space.
yeah.
So there, I think it's really been a very like a nice environment to work in to begin with, where we keep pushing each other. It's really inspiring to watch these guys sort of come up with their own art and sort of keep sharing with each other. So that is a major thing which pushed us to sort of keep doing this and finish it off. And in terms of difficulty, even like the crowdfunding campaign was surprisingly very, very successfully managed to raise our target amount in 2 days. So if we do have content which the audience connect with, I think they will love it and they will want to sort of pay to sort of watch it.
Correct.
So even after we finished these 4 films, we did a lot of screenings, like we said, across the country, and a lot of people sort of paid for it and came and watched, and sort of it was very successful. So I think, like we say, animation India is not sort of developed and it's not up to the mark as Western countries. I think that's not the case. It's gone sort of, the demand has gone up, and I think if we give them the content that they connect with and they like, then I think it works. So yeah, and of
but
course,
in the
Balram.
Hi, Balram.
We have the director of Story of Beginning, Mr. Balram, joining us. Hello, Balram.
Hi, Vinay. I'm sorry I'm
Hi.
late.
That's okay.
Wow,
So, yeah, we're just talking to Kalp and Upamani about the story of Wade, and they said even you worked with it. So, before we get into the story of beginning, let's start with the Wade, and how did you get into it? And
Sorry?
before we start into the story of beginning,
Hello?
Upamani and Kalp
Can you
told
hear
me
me?
that. Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So what was the question?
No, I was just talking to Upamanu and Kalp about them being students of National Institute of Design, and then they said even you were there studying, and then
Yes,
they
yes.
told even you interned with them for Wade. So I
Yes,
just
yes.
wanted to, before we get into story of beginning, let's just start with you working with Wade, and then how did
Oh, yes,
the
yes.
transition happen?
So, I mean, that was for 2 months, and that was one of the best 2 months of my life. So me and my friend Patho was there, and that 2 months we had like really huge learning curve, and being in a new place, and Ghost is like home. Like you don't feel like you're in a studio. Just more like home.
because it's literally a rented home. So
And working on something like Word, which is very ambitious project, very complicated animations involved in it. So skill wise and intellectually also, we learned a lot from there. And then being in Kolkata also, I mean that city has this special vibe, which uplift you spiritually. So that is two great months of life.
And now,
Yeah.
story of beginning. How did you conceptualize? What was the idea behind the whole thing? Because three kids who just are wandering around the backwaters of Kerala, and then they decide to go and explore the scheme, and then they have a realization. So, what was the story behind it?
Yeah, yeah. So while I was looking for a story to make this film, I was thinking about my childhood memories, and when I was a kid, me and my friend Amba, his name is Ambadi. I remember we going searching for beginning of a very small stream in our village, and in the end we reach a small pond, and we reach there by the time of evening, and that's when the that's a golden hour around that time. And I still remember the sand beneath the pond bed sparkling. And it's a very rich memory. So I thought, maybe I can develop an interesting plot around that. uh, and also, this is beginning of last year, 2019 January, and that was when this religious nationalism movement, all of that, gaining strength in India, and then this religious conflict, and at the end of the day, all religions are to give support to those who to have faith in their God, all of that. And then it really disturbed me how faith or belief, something so pure, is creating such chaos in the world, whereas it should be it should be something that empower every individual. But so that caused problem. I mean that really disturbed me. And so when these two dots connected, this story formed.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah.
And the same question that I asked to Upamanyu and Karl, what were the difficulties that you faced from the starting to ending of the program, or what was the challenges that you had to face, and how did you overcome, and why, you're able to hear us? That's what I mean. What were the challenges that you faced, for the completion of the film, and how did you overcome, and what were the things that you learned as you started developing the project?
There might be a lag. I don't know if you-
I think.
They can't
Balram, you're able to
hear.
hear us, right?
I can hear.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you. What are the difficulties that you faced while you started shooting for a story of beginning, and then how did you overcome, and what are the lessons that you learned? Because first film and then straight out of college.
Yeah. Uh, See, getting a chance to make a film, especially animated film, it's very rare. So I thought when I have this chance, and I already had a promised support from Lijo Jos Pellisheri. He's a producer of the film. So I thought when I have this chance, I should use it also to try something that I haven't tried before, and something which is very scary for me. That was performance animation. So performance animation, which involves emotion, dialogue delivery, interaction between characters, all of that. So I thought this is a chance for me to try out that. And I have never done proper performance animation before. So for in this project, the toughest part was to do the voice acting, uh, and to get the essence of children's speaking. I mean, so I was away from Kerala for 4 years while I was in NID, and so my writing was very literature. It was not the what is the word for it, like the speaking language that I was writing in. So it was very difficult for me to get the right accent, to get the right performance from the kids. And also the major difficult part was to animate their performance. So I so Lijo Jos sir suggested me to go and spend time with kids from the same village where I grew up. So I had interactive sessions with the kids. I rewrote the dialogue, sitting with the kids, taking suggestions from them. Asking them how would you say this dialogue if you are in such situation. So and we recorded the entire animatic. We recorded that of this kids performing it in their not like a stage thing, but like very playfully. So that's how I got a video animatics for the film, and then I use that as my reference for the animation. So and another uh, major difficulty was executing this film, because it's an 11-minute film, and then I was the only person working on it. So so it was a huge task to do the animation and also the backgrounds. So so I had to take the practical decision of making doing rough animation and doing the animation in threes and fours, not doing very fluid animation, and also to make the background also very flowing, free flowing one. And I think that became blessed, because now I think it goes with the treatment of the film. But it was more of a practical decision to do very very scratchy, rough outlines, all of that. Yeah. So these two things were the major difficulties I faced.
Okay. I mean, talking about dialogue delivery, Upamanyu and Kalp, Wade
Yeah.
doesn't have dialogues. You know, did you
Yes.
make
Yeah.
it a conscious effort to have no dialogues on it, or did you want people to have their own dialogues in their mind while watching the films, or what was the
Yeah, I think,
decision?
well, on a basic level, if you're hiding from tigers, you don't want to make a sound
Correct.
on one level. And two, if you have, there's nothing really to be gained in having someone say, "Oh, look, a tiger." Like, it was a very primal sort of thing that the characters in the film were doing. And once you watch it without language, without the subtitles coming underneath, you can just instantly be a part of the circumstances. It's a very, it doesn't matter really as to what language they're speaking. But the challenge for us, on the other hand, was to get tigers to perform. Like, we had to. It was still performance driven, just not dialogue. But like, if a
Yeah.
tiger is you know frustrated, is angry, is threatening another tiger just with its you need to figure how all of that works in terms of, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
and we sort of did not even like a lot of films have this information that's given in the beginning and then you get into the film. We challenged ourselves not to do that, and we did not want to give direct information to the viewer, but we put in these details in the backgrounds itself, like say graffitis or hoardings and all of that, to set up the environment what the city has gone through. So we spent some time establishing the city with these information here and there, and then we got into the actual plot
Okay.
itself.
okay.
So that is something we did. We sort of made a challenge for ourselves not to do any dialogues, no text, and just get into it.
You know, I mean, as long as the message is conveyed and people can understand what the family was going through and how the tigers felt about them,
Yeah,
you know. So there are a
exactly.
couple
Yeah.
of questions that have come from our social media people who are watching. If you can, Minol is asking, with so many VFX in camera now, is learning animation a good career way forward?
Balram, what
Go
do you
ahead.
think?
Me,
I
Yeah, go
mean,
for it,
whoever
man.
wants to take it first. I am asking it
I,
to all the four of you.
I think like since India is a powerhouse of VFX for world films, I think it's a really good career, especially in these times, because at least since we are artists and since we work with our computer, we still have work to do, and it's such a bless blessing that we have something to do right now. Uh, we can sit at home and work. I think it's a really good career.
Kalp, you want to add something to it?
Yeah, yeah. So I think even if there are as many cameras and VFX and as many whatever technology and software comes in, I think the art of 2D traditional animation itself can never be matched. Anyway, that is at its another level. 2D animation is something else altogether. So if you really love the medium and you want to keep making films, I think it's a really good career. We are enjoying what we're doing, so we are happy so far at least. And I think it's, yeah, like I said, it's a completely different art form. It's a completely different it again, it's filmmaking is the same, it's just the medium that's different. So yeah, at least that. So I'm very happy with this. So yeah, it's a good career at least.
Shailesh was asking, when there are two directors, how easy or difficult is it? I mean, Kalp and Upamanyu, how easy was it, considering you
Depends
guys
on
were...
your co-director really. And for us, it was. I mean, I had a great time. Like, I just learned so much from like Kalp's way of working, and the way he sees story, the way he approaches production is just, it's some. We've been working together for a very, very long time, since our second year in college. So, like, there's no question anymore really. So, like, any
Did you
idea?
guys ever think to make a film and then that would be, in short film festivals over there? And was there ever a thought when you guys were studying and...
Yeah, well, we certainly hoped so, because we did wanted to end up making movies, and like, we were always taught that the natural path for a movie is to be in a festival, unless you, uh, you know, pull a surprise and go on tour with it first. So yeah, it was good. It was really good for us. Kalp, what do you think?
Yeah, like he said, we've been working since a very, very long time, as early as 2012, 13, and it's just been a very smooth process for us because he's good at something that he does. I am good at something that I'm sort of doing and learning, and again, learning from each other happens every single day. Every single shot that we do was a new thing that we learned, and throughout Wade, that was happening at every stage. And yeah, and I think we've been exposed to a lot of films since throughout college actually, and there have been a lot of animators, directors who have come to NID during festivals, and we've seen a really huge variety of sort of films of all kinds, live action, animation, all sort of mediums. So that has sort of just opened up our sort of, there's so much possibilities. So I think this is something we started off with, and we really want to now do something different and maybe something with no tigers and no stripes now, I guess.
And one thing I would really make the case for is to have at least one more, whether it's your co-writer or a co-director. I would really make the case for having one more person who really knows what they're doing on board, so that you don't you have someone to sound off. And now moving forward, like regardless of what I write, Kalp will read it first. Like we know that. So like
yeah,
it'd be
it's
good to have
nice to keep sort of throwing things at each other and coming up with things. So yeah,
you need to
that's
know if it's
always
working.
nice.
The voice in your head doesn't always tell you that.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you ever feel difficulty being a single director, or it was easy for you? How was it?
Since I haven't made many films, I'm comfortable with where I am right now.
Okay.
And then, but I really love humor. I really enjoy it, but I'm really bad at writing it. So when I'm making a very humorous, funny film, I really want to take maybe one of our friends to co-write it.
Okay. There's another question from Anand. He says, "Great to see young animation directors in a festival in the world of animation. Who are your influences?"
Ghost.
Hey, come on. There's just go for it, Balram.
Yeah.
So see, for me, Ghost has been always a big influence and inspiration. And then there is Rajesh Thakare and Roy Vasant, who are our seniors. So their graduation film, Good Morning Mumbai, that was also a big inspiration for me personally. And then Ghibli films, Miyazaki films, they are also they also influence me a lot.
Yeah, for us, I mean, of course, one can talk about Ghibli, all the art that you can see all around the world. It's really great. But if I'm looking really homewards, I'm going to repeat with Rajesh and Troy's film Good Morning Mumbai, because that was one of the first films we saw in NID, and that was a thing, saying that okay, this is where you end up, this is what you end up doing, and it can be done. And there's brilliant animation being done in Bangalore itself by a studio called Plankton. There are the Unoyans in Kerala. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, Kochi. Yeah, Unoyans.
Very, very good work there as well. So there's a lot of like, if you just look to your left and right, you'll find a lot of really good stuff happening, and including all the interns and the people who have come over to Ghost. They've all raised the bar very high for us, including Balram, Partho, Neeraj, Kasturi, or like all of these young animators who are coming out of NID right now. They're already so good that it's a bit frustrating in terms of like when we
see, when I look at it, like what Ghost has done has influence. I think it's from my senior batch. I'm their sixth year, right? I'm your sixth year. Sorry, as in 6th year junior to them.
Okay.
So from my second years, they have started working on Wade. So from there on, every batch that come. Oh shit! So I'm really sorry. It's very difficult for me to talk like this. So every batch that has come after me, my batch, has got so much influence from Ghost, and so much inspiration from them. And then it really so whatever Ghost is doing really gives us so much fuel, and then hope, and something to look up to. So I think all the names that Upamanyu mentioned right now, all of and everyone that are from my batch, or my senior batch and my junior batch, they are also, I think they are doing great also because of Ghost and Plankton, and all these good places are there in India. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they've said all of it. So yeah.
Whoever wants to ask, since your early days of making Wade, what's the big change you feel that has happened to you guys post Wade? Divakar Kupan.
Hey, Divankar is supposed to be here. His film is selected in the festival.
Yeah.
What are you doing in the comment section, Divakar?
Yeah.
He's coming tomorrow because his film is scheduled tomorrow. So he's gonna be there tomorrow. Make sure I send in your regards to him tomorrow.
So what we miss from our early days, I think it's that whole thing of the like when we started off Wade, it looked very, very different, and like we again mentioned earlier, it went through a lot of changes. So every shot that was layered and put together, that whole curiosity of how it's going to turn out to be is something that I miss.
Same.
After putting it together, yeah, it was so new. Everything was so new, and every shot was a new learning for us. So that thing is something that we miss. And I think again with new projects, new films will happen again. So there's
but we'll have to
something
drastically shake it up for that, because now you have a post-Wade zone where everything ends up looking like what you just ended up doing because it works. So you really have to throw yourself into the deep end again to crack something new.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a very scrappy time. Like it was like a garage startup situation. So it was very.
Yeah, I started off with some plastic tables.
Exactly. Yeah.
After 3 years, we finally got a big wooden table.
We got because Balram was coming to the studio. Otherwise, we didn't even need a plastic table. It was very fun. It's always nice to look back on that way. Now, as it gets more and more systematic, you do tend to miss the less systematic times and not knowing what you're doing really.
Correct, I agree. We just have one last question with us today.
All right.
It's Anand again. My other question is, I'm a big anime fan, especially Miyazaki during lockdown. What's the full series of Studio Ghibli?
Ghibli, yeah.
What's your favorite anime?
My favorite anime is Naruto, hands down. Masashi Kishimoto, he's a insane artist, storyteller, and everything in that I love. Music, story, a lot of feels basically.
Balram.
Yeah, that's for me. Balram, what about you?
Anime.
For me, my favorite anime, I mean, if the question specifically is about anime, for me, it's Mind Game. And the film is directed by Masaki Yuasa.
Okay.
I love all of it. Yeah.
Good.
Divakar is back again. How is the rage now? I can see the levels of rage you had when you started. I think it's for Kyle.
I think it's about Wade, I think.
Yeah.
I can't say I fully get the question, so if you do, go for it.
I think rage, I'm guessing, I don't know, is it about as in what's happening in Wade or just generally in life?
No, I think something about rage and.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I mean, the question was about rage. Anyway, what are your messages for the young guys who want to take up animation as a career, and what are the challenges that they have to be worried, and what are the things that have to be, just a starter kit for them to get ready into the field of animation in India?
Yeah, Upi, go for it. What do you think?
Right. I think two things really. One is it's important to find people you can work with, people who you're happy being around, who add to your process. I think a lot of people have thought in the past that they have to kind of figure it out by themselves, but you don't. You could admit where you fall short and where someone is better than you, and therefore where they can come in and help you out. And two, it's really important to this is something I was going to say during like the challenges of weight. Animation is a very slow process. You will find a lot of live action films which were shot in 3 days, and it's, they send it for grading, it's done, it's out. It takes us a lot more time to build every moment legitimately frame by frame, right? And that is counterintuitive. That is it sometimes doesn't even make very good sense. But you have to keep your eyes on the prize. You have to give yourself little things to keep seeing, small things that you can get out of the way, tangible results. So if you see a scene from your film, you'll know you can do a few more scenes. You do a few more scenes, you'll know you can finish the whole film. Like you just have to build to it. The big picture is very intimidating, but the trick is to not get intimidated, because what we do is really beautiful. We're allowed to be fascinated with anything. It can be climate change, it can be spirituality, it can be particle physics, it can be the history of textile design on another day. It's infinite, really, and that's the best part of it. And it's good to stay interested and carry on.
Yeah.
Cool. Then. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for your time and taking your time off and coming and
Thanks,
speaking
Vinay.
about
Yeah.
your film. All the best.
Thank you.
All the best for the competition.
Bye, Bhumini. Bye, Carl. Happy
Bye,
to see
bye,
you.
guys.
See you.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot. Thank
Vinay.
you.
Bye. Good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
All the best. So that was the team of Wade and the story of a beginning talking to us in today's Let's Talk. Please go watch all our short films on bissf.in, that is BISSF.in. It's completely free. All you have to do is just go in there, register yourself, and you are going to watch all the short films that are there in our categories. And also, don't forget to leave your comments. That will help the people who are making the films get your opinions about them. And also, don't forget to donate, because a small help will make sure you help a filmmaker. Thank you.